Welcome to Water Your Soil. So Experian, they did their 12th annual State of Credit Report. You know, every year annually for the past 12 years, Experian, they do a State of Credit Report. And it basically tracks Vantage scores from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. As some of you may know, not all of you, but some of you may know, Vantage scores, they're different from FICO scores. But they range just like FICO scores. They range from 300 to 850. So they're similar to FICO scores in that regards as far as the number that they range from. But the scoring models and how scores are determined are different between the two. But anyways, Experian did their 12th annual State of Credit Report. And they found out, the numbers show that credit scores are up. On a 13-year high. Credit scores are on a 13-year high. And I think that's pretty good, but it's also an indication of things that are about to come and about to happen. It's an indication of things that happened previously, and it's a further indication of things that are about to happen. So, they mentioned, of course, what we just went through for the last 2 years. And that had a lot to do with it because people got money, they got the stimulus and, they got child tax credits. And plus, some people ended up with PPP loans and things of that nature. But one thing that the article, and you can see that link to the article, is by fortune.com. You can see the link down in the bio in the description below. But one thing that the article failed to mention was student loans. People haven't been paying on student loans for almost 2 years. So a lot plays into that. You figure there are no late payments when it comes to student loans because people haven't been paying. And also there are no missed payments. So those two things right there are going to help people's credit scores. Because as you know, when it comes time again for everyone to have to pay their student loans, everyone is not going to be able to pay their student loans on time, nor will everyone be able to not miss a student loan payment, because those type of things was going on. They were going on prior to, what happened these past 2 years. But anyways, one very interesting thing that I found in regards to the article is something that I've been seeing over and over and over again with time. And it's kind of sickening to see. Credit scores are basically split up, divided down right down the middle through half of the country. If you were to take a line and just put it right through the middle of the country that separates north and south, that's where the credit scores go between high and low. People up north all throughout the country have higher credit scores than people in the south. And it's an interesting dynamic, and this goes from the East Coast to the West Coast, but definitely in the South. The South definitely has the lowest credit scores between Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. Those places all have lower credit scores, and I think that's kind of alarming, and it is a problem as well. I think it's due to a lack of knowledge and education in regards to how credit works. And I think another thing that plays a factor into it is, they're a lot more lenient down in the South when it comes to giving out loans. You figure down here where I live in Georgia, and people were able to get homes and purchase homes with a 580 credit score. That's pretty low. They also I remember my story that's currently on my page about how I went from a 549 to an 838 credit score. Well, when I was at the dealership, I mentioned in that video how the dealership told me, I had a low credit score in the 500s, and they was like that was normal for people who were trying to get cars from there. So I just think it's a little bit more lenient to have a lower credit score in the South. But that needs to change because, the economy, the outlook for the economy, I don't think is favorable. And I would say probably the next year or so, when people start having to pay on student loans again, I feel as though these credit scores are going to drop. I'm happy that they're up right now because, you know, that people are able to go out and get loans. They're able to qualify for credit cards and things of that nature. But I do think once the student loans come back around and people are responsible for their student loans again and paying them on time and not missing payments and things of that nature, I think that we're going to start seeing the average scores drop again. We're going to see the scores go down, and we might even see a new 13-year low. You never know. But I don't expect the credit scores to continue to increase, especially once the deferment for student loans goes away. Once that goes away, people have to be responsible again for paying their bills on time. And this is why it's so important to educate yourself about credit. During these next couple of months, I would suggest, I don't care where you learn it from, long as it's legit, I would suggest that, you know, you all learn as much as you can about credit and the concept of credit and how credit works, because things are going to change. You figure the student loan deferment isn't going to go on forever. I just don't see it going on forever. Yeah, they've been extending it. They extended a couple of things. They extended the rent moratorium. They extended a lot of things, but those extensions are about to go away. So with those things going away, people become more responsible for their accounts and for their debt. And when people are more when people are held accountable and responsible for their debt, that's when we're going to start seeing scores being dinged and credit scores dropping and things of that nature. But you won't be affected by this if you know and learn the concept of credit. There are rules to credit scoring. I think everyone should be aware what those rules are, how the scoring models work, and how credit work, because it's very important to know how credit scoring works and how credit works. It's very discouraging to me to see that the South, you know, has a lower credit score on average than up north. There's really something going on with that, as far as, you know, maybe, like I said, I suggest that it's, you know, lenders are more lenient towards the South. But that needs to change, you know. It definitely needs to change. It needs to be more uniformity throughout the whole U.S. when it comes to credit scores. But the only way that's going to happen is if, one, lenders stop being as lenient. And I'm sure that may not happen because they get to select higher interest rates. But number one, if lenders stop being more lenient, and number two, people educate themselves about credit, how credit work, and the concept of credit. So a 13-year high is something for everyone to celebrate, but beware and keep in mind, a lot has to do with the money that people received over these past 2 years, you know, the stimulus and things of that nature, as well as the fact that some people weren't paying on rent, you know, those type of things, because they weren't getting evicted. And another thing, because evictions do hurt your credit score. And another thing that you also have to pay attention to, and which I feel is the most important reason why credit scores have risen, and that's the fact that, you know, student loans have been in deferment for almost 2 years. So learn as much as you can about credit. I have tons of videos on this page. You can search through my video section on this Water Your Soil YouTube page, and I'm sure you'll find a video that's beneficial to you in regards to credit or credit cards or anything of that nature. But anyways, if this video was helpful to you in any kind of way, be sure to hit the like button. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. A lot of people watch this channel and they come by this channel because I see the analytics. I watch the analytics, I review the analytics, so you come by and you return, but you don't subscribe. So if you're gonna come by and return, at least subscribe and hit the bell. But anyways, I thank you all for coming by and I appreciate it.